Following your dreams is pretty neat, especially when you have parents that support you. But believe it or not, it is possible for them to support you a bit too much, raising you as a fighting machine rather than an actual person. When that happens, you become lost on what to do when your dreams become so big you mistake them for destiny, chasing after something that was never meant to be. Tai Lung, the false dragon warrior, and Azula, the false fire lord. According to the Discord poll, everyone thinks the winner will be... oh, it's a tie! Of course the two perfectionists would have the equal result. Well, I guess it's up to me. Let's get started. Abilities and Arsenal. Tai Lung was the first ever student to master the 1,000 Scrolls of Kung Fu. He knows many different styles, but his main style of choice is Leopard style. This style revolves around waiting patiently close to the ground and punishing your foe's mistakes with very fast, fierce, and brutal strikes. The goal of this overwhelming style is to keep your opponent from making the same mistake twice, not because they'd learned from the initial mistake, but because that one mistake would be all it takes for Tai Lung to be assured victory. Tai Lung also has nerve attacks which can stun and completely paralyze opponents for long periods of time. Though he does have difficulty performing this on larger foes. He has trouble finding the nerves through all the fur. And finally, he's pretty good at using the environment to his advantage, whether it be using any weapon he comes across, kicking up large chunks of earth from the ground, leaping several feet into the air as if he could fly, fighting with fire, blue fire that can reach temperatures of up to 3,000 degrees, and nothing with water. Guess he can't be Avatar either. When we come to Azula, she's a pretty skilled martial artist as well, her style resembling that of the long fist style of Kung Fu. Extending her fists out as far as possible with each strike, tons of sweeping kicks, and lots of swift, strong, and acrobatic strikes, an amazing balance of both aggression and grace. When we come to her firebending, she's a prodigy. She's perfected this art so well her fire even comes out blue. She can shoot fireballs, create gigantic waves of fire, propel herself by rocketing fire out of her feet, breathe fire, creating explosions, and we can't forget her most powerful ability, lightning bending. Azula is more than just a master of fire though. She's also a master of the mind, manipulating and tricking her opponents very easily. She can lie so well that even Toph can't detect it with her earthbending. Tai Lung's looking pretty tough, but Azula is also a wildfire you shouldn't underestimate. Let's see what the YouTube comments have to say about this though. Oh look, there's the Biff Weed. Despite Azula's ability to lightning bend, the category of speed is actually pretty even. So, Azula's lightning should obviously be around massively hypersonic, like typical lightning is. And even if you don't believe this bending lightning is real lightning, Uncle Iroh has deflected lightning from the sky himself. So lightning speeds for the Avatarverse is actually pretty normal. And now you're probably asking how Tai Lung keeps up then, because he ain't out here dodging no lightning. And you're right, Tai Lung hasn't, but Po has. Now obviously there's a massive power jump in the Kung Fu Pandaverse and Kung Fu Panda 3 and onwards that Tai Lung should not scale to at all. But as far as Kung Fu Panda 2 goes, and the Legends of Awesomeness series where this lightning dodging takes place, it's not out of his reach. Especially when you consider that in this series, we get to meet the long-lost nephew of Tai Lung, Peng. Now, Tai Lung simply being related to Peng doesn't automatically guarantee scaling, but there's no real reason to assume that Peng is out of his league. And the balance doesn't stop there as we move on to strength. Azula should obviously be equal or even superior to her brother Zuko, who survived a Fire Nation warship exploding. And when it comes to Azula herself, the fireballs from firebending are able to destroy small buildings, and her lightning bending was able to one-shot Aang. With everything that Aang has survived, building the city block level sounds pretty good. Now Azula has shown higher feats before, potentially reaching multi-city block level, but this only happened when her firebending was enhanced by Sozin's Comet, which only passes by Earth once every 100 years. As for Tai Lung, he's powerful enough to crumble a small building into rubble with a single kick, and he can defeat 1,000 Rhino Guards who are tough enough to survive an explosion that can blow apart stalactites. He also defeated the entire Furious Five on his own, including Tigress, who's tough enough to survive shots from Shen's cannons, weapons that can destroy Shen's own warship and even topple a palace tower. And Oogway thinks a peach can beat this guy? A peach? Really? Anyways, let's check some Discord predictions, and a video prediction from It's Me MD.
Tai Lung versus Azula, I think, comes down to who can outlast the other, the tankster or the speedster. Tai Lung, ultimately, I think, has the edge in strength and durability. Azula should definitely have the edge in speed, where she should be comparable to her own lightning. Versatility would go to Azula, of course, with her onslaught of blue fire and lightning. And Tai Lung, I believe, has technique on his side with his martial arts, and especially the nerve attack. And I'd say Tai Lung would be able to outlast and avoid Azula's blue fire long enough to the point where he can get close in and try to land in some good hits. And if he can land in a good hit or so, or even a nerve attack, then I think it'd be game over for Azula. If Azula could manage to take a hit or so and avoid Tai Lung for long enough to realize that, yeah, this dude's a problem, I think she'll use the light, and that would probably be the finisher for Tai Lung. So, while I would be rooting for Tai Lung in this fight, 6 times out of 10, I'd have to give the edge to Azula.
For this final extra segment, Tai Lung is the only one with a special attribute worth bringing up. In fact, he has 2. The first is how he handles fire. Now, it'd be a huge reach to say he's completely immune to it, but he very clearly does have a high resistance. Without showing any signs of pain, he's able to fight with blue fire, which can reach temperatures of up to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. His fur isn't even singed afterwards. Then there's his pressure point attacks. Now, there's nothing about Tai Lung's nerve attack that I want to mention specifically, but rather Azula's vulnerability to it. When caught off guard, Azula was 2-shot by Ty Lee's pressure point attacks to the point where she couldn't even bend for a while, and Ty Lee isn't even a bender herself. And that weakness is one of the reasons why I believe the winner of this fight would be Tai Lung. This battle was stupidly close. They're both just as strong as each other, they're both just as fast as each other, and their arsenal is about equal. Azula's arsenal has more range, but Tai Lung's arsenal has a lot more skills involved and unique attributes that aid him in this fight. He'd be able to defeat her range advantage in getting close by matching her lightning speeds, he'd have the fire resistance to survive some of her fire along the way, he's able to match her strength and could do some serious damage with it when he finally does get in close with his superior martial arts abilities, and if things get too heated, he could always block her bending and leave her paralyzed with his nerve attacks. But let me know what you guys think of this result, and thank you for predicting in this episode. Be sure to predict the next one with a comment down below, in my Discord server, voting in the Discord poll, or making a video prediction. As for the next time, I had a list full of connections of why this would be an amazing fight, but I can't find it for some reason and I can only remember one of them. They both like green rocks that hold the power of an entire island. It's Knuckles versus Maui.